What family member turned out to be living a double life? Growing up, Lucas was always the golden child in our family. He got straight A's, was captain of the debate team, and got accepted to a prestigious university with a partial scholarship. Our parents had high expectations for him. I was 3 years younger, and while they noticed me too, Lucas was the one they bragged about at family gatherings. Everything changed during Lucas's third year of college. He dropped out suddenly, saying he couldn't handle the pressure anymore. Our parents were devastated. Dad wouldn't speak to him for weeks. Mom cried constantly. Lucas moved back home and into the basement, where he supposedly lived for the past 10 years. For years, the family narrative was that Lucas had some kind of breakdown. He would apply for jobs, get interviews, but never seemed to land anything permanent. He'd do odd jobs here and there, but nothing steady. Our parents would give him money for essentials and paid for his phone. Dad would lecture him about responsibility at every holiday dinner. Mom would slip him extra cash when Dad wasn't looking. I left for college myself and didn't come home much except for holidays. During one Thanksgiving dinner 5 years ago, Dad started in on Lucas again about getting his act together. The defeated look on Lucas's face made me angry at our father. After dinner, I found Lucas sitting alone on the back porch. We talked about nothing important for a while. As I was about to leave, he asked if I wanted to grab coffee the next day. We met at a small cafe that I'd never been to before. Lucas seemed different there, more confident, standing straighter. The barista knew him by name and started making his order before he even asked. Lucas told me he needed to show me something but made me promise not to tell anyone in the family. I agreed, thinking maybe he had a girlfriend or was finally moving out. Instead, he drove us to a small electronics repair shop in a busy shopping district. He unlocked the door with his own key. Inside, the shop was busy with 3 employees working on various devices. "This is mine," Lucas said. "I own it." Before I could process this, he took me to another location, a shop that specialized in custom builds. Also his. Back in his car, not the old car he drove to family events, but a BMW he kept in a garage near his actual apartment, Lucas explained everything. He'd never had a breakdown in college. He'd dropped out because he'd started a repair business from his dorm room and needed to focus on it full time. I asked why he pretended to be a failure. Lucas didn't answer immediately. He took me to his real apartment next. Everything about this life was completely different from the persona he showed our family. He explained his system then. He'd never actually lived in the basement full time. He maintained just enough items there to create the illusion. Some old clothes, a messy bed that looked slept in, and personal items scattered around. He'd come home in the evenings when he knew our parents would notice, sometimes stay overnight, especially when they'd be around in the morning. He scheduled his real work during hours when they were busy or at their jobs. When they thought he was at job interviews or working odd jobs, he was actually running his businesses. Our parents, having already decided he was a failure, never questioned his absences too deeply. The basement had its own entrance, which made coming and going easier without detection. For 5 years, I kept his secret. I watched as our parents continued to give him pity money, which he donated to a homeless shelter. Last Christmas, our cousin Zach visited with his wife Jade. Zach had just lost his business and was working entry level again. At dinner, Dad compared them, suggesting that at least Lucas had an excuse for his situation while questioning what Zach's excuse was. Everyone went quiet. Jade stared at her plate. Last month, our father lost his job. At dinner, he announced he was going to make some changes around here. He told Lucas he had 3 months to find a real job and move out, claiming it was for his own good. Lucas simply nodded and accepted it. 2 weeks later, I visited Lucas at his real apartment. He was packing. When I asked if he was finally going to tell them the truth, he said he was moving to Seattle. I asked about our parents, and Lucas revealed he had bought their house last year. The bank was going to foreclose after Dad took out a second mortgage without telling Mom. Lucas had been paying it off slowly and explained they could stay as long as they wanted, but they'd never know it was him. When I pressed him about why he wouldn't just tell them the truth, Lucas looked at me directly and reminded me of what happened with Zach. When Zach was successful, our father asked him for money every week. Our mother took credit for raising him right. Aunt Vera needed loans for her failed businesses. When Zach couldn't give more, they called him selfish. 3 days ago, Lucas moved out of the basement with a single suitcase. Dad made a speech about how proud he was that Lucas was finally growing up. Mom cried and gave him money for emergencies. Lucas hugged them both, thanked them for everything, and drove away in his old car. The next day, he transferred the car to me, along with a note, for keeping my secret. He's in Seattle now, where no one knows him as the family failure.